plans for you. If I take these hands, would you cancel all your plans? I got all the plans for you. I got all the plans. If I take a hand, if I take these hands, would you cancel all your plans? I got all the plans. If I spend these bands, would you pull up on a man? Do it on demand. If I take all of these hands with you, would you cancel all your plans? I got all the plans. I got all the plans for you. If I take all of these hands, would you cancel all your plans? I got all the plans for you. Yeah.
I'm swaggin', committed, I'm schooling, they holdin', them booties, they callin', I fuck 'em, I duck 'em, I'm swaggin', young duck 'em, I'm bleeding, young nigga make baby no breathing.
The Four Agreements, written by, let me see if you could see it, Don Miguel. The Four Agreements. So, the first agreement, be impeccable with your word. I've really been enjoying this book. So what does it mean to be impeccable with your word? When I first approached this book, I thought it meant to be impeccable with your word meant to not lie. And I try not to lie as much as I can. That's what I thought being impeccable with your word meant. But being impeccable with your word means a lot more than that. There's a lot more that goes into it. The word impeccable means without sin. And I didn't really look at it like that when I first started reading the first agreement out of the four agreements. Because, like I said, I thought it meant without lying. And then impeccable, I also, in my subconscious, knew it to mean something that's perfect. So that's what I thought. Be perfect with your word. Be as honest as you can. And my intuition was somewhat correct, but it's not about honesty. Impeccable means without sin. And the way he describes it is, don't say anything that's gonna negatively influence you, or that's gonna look bad on you, or have a negative result on you. So be impeccable with your word. Be without sin. Because if you go ahead and use your words to try to hurt someone else, or try to trigger them or anger them because you're angry or you're hurt or you're triggered, then either it's going to look bad on you because you're acting very aggressive and combatively, or they could even retaliate and say something back to you, or do something to try to hurt you. So that wasn't a good use of your words. Words are very powerful. And being impeccable would be in that situation, to, even though you feel like saying something, maybe that's to stay quiet and not say anything at all. And this happened to me the other day. I was at a four-way stop, and my car actually has been hit. Somebody hit me on the side, so I'm very aware of people coming in on my side now, because I didn't expect this person to hit me. They sped up into me, and then they said they didn't see me, and then they said, oh, they were out of it. So if you're out of it, you're not supposed to be driving. And then they tried to say, oh, we were both coming onto the roundabout at the same time after, and I was out of it. So what I gave, my statement to the police, wasn't really accurate because I was out of it. And all my response was very calm and collected. I just stated facts. If you're out of it, you shouldn't have been driving. So that's a lot worse. And I don't have a problem against you. I just want my car fixed. me reacting isn't gonna help the situation. So it was best to be impeccable, without sin, not to do anything that's gonna bring harm back onto myself. So I just let it go. And there's different ways that manifests. For example, friends or family, they might nag you or say certain things. Fresh out of reading the 4 agreements, and part of why the first agreement, to be impeccable with your word, is so powerful is because whatever you give attention to, whatever your mind thinks, that's the filter you're going to live your life through. And that doesn't just mean wishful thinking. That literally means my car's not going to rot. I'm going to ensure it's not going to rot. I'm going to either cover it or I'm going to do something to where my car is not going to rot. So when she said that, I immediately said, no, why is my car going to rot? It's not going to rot. And I refused her words. Words are very powerful. When I first started the gym in John Gray, I went to my friend and I flexed. I didn't have all of this. I had maybe, it's hard to show a before and after, but thin compared to now. And someone started laughing. And if I had took that to heart, maybe I would have stopped. I would have felt demotivated. I would have felt embarrassed. But I didn't. I refused that belief because I knew, for some reason, I just knew that I was going to get to this point. I didn't know it was literally going to manifest as me having these huge muscles that I'm known for having now. But I knew I was going to make it far. And I knew that even though I had just started and I was young and my progress wasn't a lot, I knew I made progress and I knew I was going to make a lot more progress. So I didn't let that thought corrupt my mindset. Words are very, very important. So that's how I'm approaching my business. If someone says something that's against what's best for me, I'm going to reject it. Not because I'm stubborn and don't want to take advice or criticism. That's different. It's because if I believe what they say, that's how I'm going to see life, and that's how my life is going to become. If I believe that I'm lazy, unmotivated, have no time or energy, and can't go to the gym, can't maintain myself, can't stay healthy, then that's how I'm going to live. I never used to eat vegetables, but I started because I told myself, I'm going to make an effort to be healthy. Never used to like running. Started playing basketball. Today I just did a 5K for dementia. And I've done a few over last year as well. And it's because I changed my mindset from, I don't like this. I'll never be able to do this because I'm not good at it. I don't like it, to I want to be healthy. I'm going to be healthy. So this is just what I'm going to do. Being impeccable with your word is so important. I told myself for my 21st birthday, because since the legal drinking age in the States is 21, I thought that at 21, that's the minimum age. I could have started a stocks brokerage account. I could have started investing, which was not true. I could have done it earlier, but I didn't know. I told myself, I'm going to invest, and I'm going to make a lot of money investing. I'm going to learn. I'm going to become an investor. And that's exactly what I've done. If I would have listened to because people have told me that like investing is too risky. People have told me their stories. They put in money, they lost it. It's too volatile. It's up and down. It's too scary. Same thing with crypto. People are telling me, don't put money into crypto. Crypto is too risky. Crypto is not a good investment. If I listened to that, I wouldn't have even started investing into stocks. But my mind was opened, and after some time, my belief was changed to crypto is a scam. From that to investing is only for people with a lot of money and people who study and people who are good at trading, people who have years of experience. My mindset went from that to I'm a good investor. I invest in crypto. I invest in new technologies and new things that are going to make me a lot of money. And this will manifest because this is the lens I see the world through. So I'm always going to look for those opportunities. And any opportunity to not invest, to lose money, I'm going to avoid. And I'm going to learn the lessons that lead me closer to my vision. And I'm going to disregard everything that leads me further away. So be impeccable with your word, not only to others, but to yourself. For example, if you say you're going to work out today, that's where the accountability and the honesty does come in, because it is now in your best interest to follow through. If you don't follow through, you have committed a sin and you were not impeccable with your word. And now that creates a conflict. It's better to not even create a conflict for yourself. If you could just say something and just do it in your brain, you don't even have to say it to anyone out loud. That is the best way to live. Because now, if you have the belief of, I do what I say, and you just say to yourself your goals and that you're going to do them, then you will achieve your goals. Break it down into steps, small steps, and say, I'm going to go to the gym today. That's it. I already have the belief of, I do what I say I'm going to do. And I already told myself I'm going to the gym today. So I'll go to the gym today. Same thing with recording this video. I told myself I'm going to post one video a week every Friday at a set time. And I'm impeccable with my word to the point where I do what I say I'm going to do. So I sat down, I'm recording this video. I already wrote ideas last night for an intro, which I'm hoping to be able to fit into this video as well. So the first agreement is quite important. Your mindset really determines a lot. And other people could tell. Other people could tell when you're being fake. When you say you're gonna do something that you don't really want to do and then you end up canceling. When you're laughing at something that's not really funny and it's kind of like a fake laugh, like a polite laugh. So be impeccable with your words to yourself and to others. That's why I believe it's best not to tell anyone your goals or what you're working on, unless your goal is to grow a community or to have people know your goals and what you're working on. So my goal is to share my goals and what I'm working on so other people can learn something. Younger version of me is someone who's similar to me, 19-year-old, just coming up, just starting, they can learn something. But I do think there is something special about no one knowing what you're up to, except for those who need to know, because if you're trying to be impeccable with your word, especially if you're young, you're going to do a lot of stuff just to figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you're good at, and what you're not good at. And especially if you're very driven, you're very ambitious, you might get tunnel visioned, and you might with 100% certainty say, I'm going to do X. It could be, I'm going to build this car, I'm going to buy a motorcycle, I'm going to go race a jet ski and make a jet ski team and let's go race. And you do that for some time, and then you realize this isn't the path I want to pursue any longer. I want to pursue other things. And that makes it difficult when you've already said this is what you're going to do, and now you change. Because you're portraying yourself as one way. There's so many people in the world, everyone can't understand and keep track of all the differences and intricacies of you. You can, but not everyone can. So people knew you as, okay, this is the person that's going to race. That's their perception of you. You're the jet ski race guy. You're the salt life guy. So you go now and you abruptly stop and change. It's going to take people some time because now there is an incongruency to where what you say and what you do doesn't match up. So you're not being impeccable with your word. You're hurting your own reputation and people's ability to trust and understand you and understand what type of person you are. So far, I think the first agreement is a very good agreement. I would highly recommend reading this book. I will be analyzing the other 3 agreements when I get to them. I'm just taking my time going through this book. But so far, from what I've learned and seen and read, the first agreement, I've chosen to make that an agreement with myself to where I'm going to try going forward to be as impeccable with my word as I can. And a good advice in order to do that, like I said, is don't tell other people your goals. Just tell yourself and be impeccable with yourself. It's like how people say help yourself before you help someone else. I 110% agree with that. For example, if you want to help someone financially, I think it's best, it might look selfish, but it's best to build yourself up financially first to where you're in a great place and then you're just able to give freely without any stress or concerns. So same thing, if you want to be impeccable with your word out in society, which is what I'm aiming to do now, you must first start by being impeccable with yourself. And I think I've done a really good job at that. I'm happy that my mindset has improved to the point to where I could trust myself that I'm going to do what I promise myself I will do. I have that base level of faith that my personality is built on. I have these certain goals that I will achieve, and that is me. And I can rest assured in that because I have been impeccable with my word to myself. And now I'm trying to, that I feel that I'm comfortably achieved in that aspect. I've done well with myself. Now I'm trying to do that with the world. So that's how I would recommend going about it. Still have a lot to learn, but so far I do feel like this was a very great book for me. It did capture me. And I do feel like I already agreed with a lot of these principles without knowing. And I was already living some of them. But being able to understand just the importance of it. And the emphasis of it's not just with yourself, but be as impeccable as you can with your word. Try not to use words in a way that's going to hurt yourself. If someone says something negative about you, if they say you're ugly, if they say you're unlikable, if they say you're annoying, if they say that you're quiet, whatever you want, whatever you don't want to accept for yourself, don't accept it. Because once you agree with them, then now their words have power over you. If someone calls you boring and you agree with them, you will now see yourself as boring. And you will say, everything I do is boring. You won't want to share your passions and your interests with other people because you will think they're boring because you think you're a boring person. So don't accept what you don't want to accept. Literally, you don't have to be an asshole about it and start arguments, but if someone says something, I wouldn't even recommend staying quiet. I would recommend literally saying, no, that's not true, or no, that's not me, or that's wrong. If someone tells me, for example, that I'm lazy, I'm going to straight away say, I'm not lazy. Not because I want to argue with them or, start a conflict, but because I'm just not lazy. That's just something I'm not. So I'm being impeccable with my word and my thoughts. You can't tell me I'm lazy because I'm not. I'm just not. I will not accept being lazy. So I will not be lazy. It's with everything. I've noticed I would joke around about me being stupid and retarded because I do some silly things. And that's not me being impeccable with my word, because I'm accepting, even as a joke, that I'm stupid and retarded. So when I do stupid and retarded things or silly things or things that are nonsensical, that's just going to reinforce, oh, I do these because I'm stupid and retarded. Don't accept what you don't want to accept. Only accept what makes you better. Even if you're not there yet. Like I told you, in high school, I didn't have this. I was very skinny and very different, not how I am now. But I didn't accept that version of myself. I accepted myself how I am today. And that's why I was able to reach this far and make it to where I am today. I didn't accept myself as being poor, uneducated, unsophisticated. I accepted myself as someone who's educated, who can invest, who can make money on their money, and who can build multiple income streams, and who can build something more for themselves. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And if someone tells me otherwise, I'll very politely just disagree with them, because I'm not going to accept something that's going to make me worse. So be impeccable with your word. Sometimes it takes relaxation, it takes lounging, it takes doing nothing, because everyone wants your time. Everyone wants your time, and sometimes it can feel selfish or like a waste of time to, for example, play video games or watch Netflix or scroll through your phone for 2 hours. But it's only a waste of time if you believe it's a waste of time. That's why you have to be impeccable. If you worked 5-6 days, Monday to Saturday, hard as you can, and you had no time to play any video games, no time to just turn off your brain and just do what you want to do. If you had no time to do that, and you do that, and you say, this is my rest, I am resting by doing this, then you're resting. You're not wasting time. So little small shifts like that. And then if someone comes and tells you, you're playing too much video games, you're always wasting your time, you're sitting down doing nothing, you can very clearly, confidently, and it's not made up, it's not fake, it's true, you can very clearly tell them, I am resting. And just disregard their negative belief, because words are very powerful, and accept your own belief that's going to benefit you. Only have beliefs about yourself that's going to make you better and that's going to improve your life. Same thing with friends and family. You have to believe that you're someone that's worth people's time, that's worth people putting a certain amount of effort into, that's worth a certain standard. Because every time you accept little things, like somebody being an hour and a half late or somebody ignoring you, stuff like that, you're telling your subconscious that this is what I deserve. But if you tell yourself, for example, If someone's more than 30 minutes late, or whatever time frame you want to set, and they don't give a notice, I'm just going to do the activity anyways, or continue with my day anyways, because my time is valuable and my time is worth a lot and my time is important. Then people will start to treat your time as valuable and important because they know that they can only access you if they respect your time. They know that if they're 30 minutes, 40 minutes late, that you're gone, that they lost their chance. Stuff like that. Be very impeccable. If someone says you're selfish and you look at that as a bad thing, then you're going to stop prioritizing yourself. But if you look at that as a good thing, like, yes, I value myself a lot, not over anyone else, but I prioritize myself, and I take time for myself, and I conserve my energy. It's little small stuff like that. Don't let people chip away at you slowly. Build yourself up as much as you can. Be impeccable with your word. 4 agreements. So I just went to a Bible study and I'm back, and I had some interesting insights just from going about my day. I wrote it down on my notes, so I want to just walk through it real quick because I think it's of value and worth your time. So I basically said it without saying it, but being impeccable with your words is a good part, but I want to add the aspect of being impeccable with your thoughts as well, like a supplementary agreement to go on to the first agreement. So be impeccable with your word, be impeccable with your thoughts as much as you can. And that means be careful what music you listen to. If you're going to listen to rap, listen about rap that's about victory, that's about doing well and achievement and buying a house and paying off your parents' mortgage. I try to avoid sad and depressing music as much as you can. I understand some sad songs sound pretty good, but be impeccable with your thoughts. Your friends actually will almost be like a mirror of your brain, because nowadays my friends actually, I've realized that I can catch myself in the moment, third person. They kind of adjust, because here's an example. When I make a joke and say, I can't afford this, my friends will tell me, I'm reading it off my notes because this is just came to me, I didn't want to forget it. They'll tell me, it's not that I can't afford it, I just don't want to spend that much on it. And they're saying this because they know it's true, and it also reinforces the idea of being impeccable with my thoughts, because they're correcting me and they're telling me you can afford it, you just don't want to buy it, which is true. And that's a much better way to phrase it in my mind. So your friends will adjust. Be impeccable with your thoughts and your friends will start to reflect that to you. It's so crazy to experience, but once you finally see people reflecting this new version of you, it's just gonna solidify it even more. And if you're stuck to where your friends are putting you down and making fun of you, that you need to just very calmly, don't argue with them. It's not an argument, but just very calmly disagree, and don't take their opinion, don't accept it, because it's not true. And they will have to adjust, and if they don't adjust, then you're just going to end up spending less and less time with them, because they're identifying with a version of you that isn't true. So there's just a congruency there that's never, you won't be as close to them. It'll never be the same. But if they're able to adjust, they will, and you'll notice it. And when it's reflected back at you, when you have a slip up, a bad thought, when you're not exactly as impeccable as you would like to be, your friends will literally step in to actually reinforce good habits. So definitely be impeccable, not just with your words, but with your thoughts, because that gets reflected back to you like a mirror. So finally, I just wanted to say, I'm not really saying anything new or revolutionary. And these insights from the 4 agreements aren't necessarily new or revolutionary either. It's just, this is my way of expressing it. Don Miguel had his way in the 4 agreements. In the first agreement, he expressed it through the written word, through his book. My way is through this video and through my interpretation and my understanding of what I read. So it's just my understanding of it. And I think it's important because some of these concepts didn't really click to me. I didn't really start taking them to heart and putting them into my life until I read this book. So you know the knowledge already. It's just the circumstances on which you receive it. It doesn't matter if you hear this 10, 20 times. Hear it as many times as you need to until you understand, until it clicks into your heart, into your soul. So I'm not saying anything new. I'm probably saying the stuff that deep down you feel like, or you know that it sounds correct, or it's the best way of doing things. It's like how people say, believe in yourself. We all know that. People say those who think they can and those who think they can't are both right. And it's true. Just look at human history. The fact that we've advanced all the way to where we could fly planes, to where we have the internet. Different things like this wouldn't have really been imaginable if we didn't strive towards it and if we didn't have that belief. So it's all principles that we know, but it just doesn't really click. It didn't click for me literally until just now, until recently, until 23 years of life, and I've heard it many different ways. So this is my understanding, my way. Hopefully, even if you don't really get the significance of what you're hearing yet from me, at least it makes you curious, and maybe down the line you'll hear something. Maybe down the line you'll see someone who inspires you, and you'll see the way they live, and slowly but surely it'll start to make sense, and you'll start to internalize and integrate this knowledge. But yeah, you do have to go through listening to the sad music and having the bad thoughts to learn the importance of what goes into your mind really matters. Even the stuff that you watch, subconsciously you're building something into your mind. And remember, we have to be as impeccable as possible with our thoughts. So even our subconscious thoughts, we have to try to be as impeccable as possible with them and correct any that aren't. Be graceful with yourself, but strive for impeccability. Because truly, we are all a reflection of God. We have the power to destroy and to kill and to steal, but we also have been given the power to create and creativity. And that is such a beautiful divine thing. Just such a yin and yang, heads and tails of a coin. But we don't realize that, yes, we believe in God and we worship God, but God is us and God is within us. So whatever you think will literally manifest into your reality, because we have that power to manifest our thoughts, to create what's in our mind into the real world. That is our power as humans, to take what's in our brain and put it into the real world. You can either run on autopilot, let the world put things into your brain, let other people's words influence you and control your emotions, or you can purposely control your words, control your thoughts as much as you can. Be as impeccable as you can with your word and with your thoughts in order to live what I would consider heaven on earth. Because I feel like heaven and hell are both on earth. You could be living in hell, or you could strive and be living in your version of heaven. Whatever your version of heaven looks like and whatever your version of hell has manifested as. We all have aspects of each that we can consider, like certain things about our life that would be in our vision of heaven. For example, if you have family or a wife or kids, you'd want to see them in your version of heaven. But there's certain things that we have to go through that is like hell to us. But since we have that power, it is super important to filter as carefully as you can, which is why I think this first agreement is actually extremely powerful. I just had to sit back down and add that because it's not about hearing it or I've heard this before. It's about, yes, you have heard it before, but are you living by it? Because it sounds like a small change, like an insignificant change, but if you implement this, I promise you, your life will start to become the way you're envisioning it, because you have that power. You have the power of God within you to create and to destroy. So very carefully, make sure that you focus all your efforts on creation and as much love as you can. The world is a very cruel place, but all we can control is our reaction to it. And if we react to it by not accepting it and fighting for our version of heaven, and we do that for the rest of our life, then that is the closest thing to heaven on earth that you will ever achieve. You don't have to believe me, but if this truly connected with you, if you truly understand and you implement it into your life, even if it's a leap of faith, even if you're unsure and you're like, okay, this could be a waste of time, but let me give it a go, I promise you it will be worth it. You'll be so grateful. You'll be so thankful. You'll be filled with so much love, not just the love that you will grow for yourself, but the love that you'll start receiving from others, because you're able to show them more love, and you're able to receive more love because you're open to it and your mind thinks that you deserve it. It's going to be worthwhile. So I hope this helped, and I'll see you when I see you, when I've read the second commandment, the second agreement, sorry. The commandments are from God. The agreements are this book. But yeah.